All right, hi everybody, welcome to the final video for this tutorial. I know it is about as probably one of the larger tutorials that we're going to do this term, but you are probably going to have a pretty good foundation in a lot of ways to bring imagery together, vectors and pixel photos, after this. So the last thing that we're going to do is I want to show you how to use stock vectors, which are something that you are going to be using in assignments as we move forward in the course. So I have a couple of different sources linked in the tutorial, but I want you to know how to use these because it's really important, especially if there's something that you're trying to get done really quickly and you're not an illustrator or you don't have time to illustrate it or whatever the case may be. So stock vectors are a great way to go, and there's tons of different sources. There's tons of different options out there. So the first one that I have linked and the one that I'm going to use as an example today is Vecteezy. So if you go ahead and click the link that I have in the tutorial, you're going to go to Vecteezy. Now let me tell you, this website is going to tell you that you have to sign up for a free trial to use vectors, and it's not true, but you need to listen to these instructions in order to use the free files that they provide. I will show you whether or not you need to use. Some of these are free and available for commercial use, and some of them aren't. So we'll kind of get into that in just a moment. For this class, because it's for educational purposes and you are not making projects for me for monetary gain, the restrictions are a little bit less, but we'll look at that regardless in just a moment. So you come to Vecteezy, you have a couple of options. You can do a plan for a free trial. You can sign up free, log in, whatever you want. You can create a profile, but you don't need to, and you do not need to put in any card information. So the website is going to flash a bunch of stuff at you to try to get you to sign up for a free trial and put card information in. That is completely unnecessary. I still get emails from students when they go to the site saying, oh, it made me sign up and put my credit card information in. So please just listen to this. When you go to the site, here, let me just go to the home site, okay? So here we are. We've got all these different options here at the top. And remember, the site's job is to try to get you to sign up for an account, okay? What we're going to do is you have these options down here at the bottom. We're going to go to Vectors. Where it says vector here, let's see. Let's search for plants. That's the search that I had in. So go ahead and type in something. It can be whatever you want. It doesn't have to be plants. Let's go ahead and search. Over here on the side, you need to click down, license type. It's probably going to be sitting on all, but you need to have it clicked on free license. Now, I do believe that the site does have a limit on how many downloads you can do. So if you're coming here to download like 20 images, it may stop you at 5. For what we're doing today, you only need to download 1. So make sure that you have free license selected, and then go ahead and just pick something. So I am going to choose this one with the pink background. Now, it says free download here. We're going to go ahead and click free download. This one says attribution required. So if I were using this for commercial use, I would need to credit the artist when I use the graphic. Another filter that you can click, so if we just click back, another option that you can click instead of just free is editorial use only. And it's still going to give you a lot of free options, but these are going to be ones, they should all say, oh no, it still requires attribution. Let's just try to find one where the attribution is not required. So I'm going to go to free license again. And let me just click on this one. Let's see what this one says. Attribution required. I found one earlier that did not require it, but what about this one? Well, I don't know if I'm going to find an example. Let's see what this one says. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and choose free. Huh. Well, that's just a coincidence with me recording this. I guess I often come across ones that say no attribution required, but that's okay. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and download this. So you pick a vector of your choice. It can be whatever you want. I will throw this file in with the tutorial files. In case you want to use this one, you certainly can. But I'm going to go ahead and hit free download here. And it's going to say login to continue, but you can actually just click proceed with download and it will start downloading it. I used to have an account with Vecteezy, which is why it's popping that up. But just hit continue with download and then you're going to see Vecteezy, the plant lady here. I'm going to go ahead and hit save and it's going to go ahead and download that to my desktop. And so I'm just going to minimize these here for a moment. So what this is going to come in the form of is a zip file or a compressed file. All you need to do is you can either double click it. Another thing you can do is control or right click and say uncompress. Let's see, I think, or open with archive utility. A double click should get it uncompressed for you, but anyway, so you can just throw that zip file away after you get done with that. But we're gonna go ahead and open this folder up. You're gonna see a few different things in here, okay? You're gonna see the EPS file, which is what we want. There is also a JPEG file that gets included with your download, and that shows you the final export. It's a flat image that is not a vector. A lot of times students will open the JPEG file in Illustrator and then I get an email that they can't edit anything, and that's because you're opening the wrong file. And then here is the license information for you in a bunch of different languages. So what we're going to be concerned with opening today is the EPS file. So I am going to control or right click. I'm going to say open with. I'm going to say Adobe Illustrator. Again, make sure that this is it's either going to come in the form of an EPS file, an AI file, or an SVG file. Make sure you choose Illustrator. Make sure you're not choosing the JPEG. All right, sometimes you're going to get this 9-slice scaling of symbols message. You can just hit yes by default. It's all fine. By the way, I should have said this earlier, but you need to make sure you're saving your Illustrator file as we go along to make sure that your work gets saved. I should have brought that up a lot earlier. I apologize. All right, so we're going to come into this file and you can see here that we have a layer structure. So I'm going to just go ahead and make this large like I did on the other project so you can see those really clearly. So we have our background layer right here, which we don't need. I'm just going to delete that. We have the background layer, which we don't need. Let's see. Yeah, there's an artboard under there. Okay. So then what we have left here are the plants. Now these files are not always organized really well. Let's see if this one is. This one is. So you can see that everything is grouped together already. We have it double grouped. Well, no, it's only grouped once, I suppose. It's all in this layer. So we have this group here, and all the plants are organized nicely in this group. I guess what I was trying to say is we don't need to have all these grouped necessarily, because you might only want to use a few different plants. And this is going to be really useful as you move forward and we're working on our other projects throughout the rest of the term, that you only want to use a few things. So we're going to go ahead and ungroup this group of larger plants or whatever file you had. And then I'm going to just go ahead and pull. So like I'm going to choose, let's say this plant here. If I go to edit and copy and I come back over to my current project and I hit edit and paste or Command or Control V, it's going to bring this plant on over for me. And that is how you can use a stock vector in your project. So I'm going to go ahead and choose one more plant. Let's see. Oh, I have, what's going on here? Oh, it doesn't look like this one's grouped together. Let's see what's going on. Okay, so we have one plant that is not grouped together. You see this? It's all hanging out with groups of leaves, but it's not grouped together. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to marquee select this plant only. And I'm going to hit Command or Control G and I'm going to group that together. Now it's grouped together. And you'll come across that from time to time. Like, you don't really have a choice how these files are organized when you download them. You know, you just are grateful that there are stock vectors that you can use. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and copy and then paste this over to my project and shrink that down. So I'm going to go ahead and close this because I'm done using this particular project. I'm not going to save it because I'm going to throw the original in your tutorial files. Now, if I were to use this for, you know, a publication or online or whatever, going to credit the artist, you can gather their information from their profile here, and then you would actually cite and link them. You can actually copy and apply attribution. There's HTML here where you can copy that and paste it into whatever web, you know, site you're putting the image on or what have you. Print's a little bit different. We don't need to worry about that too much in this class, just in the sense that you're doing all of this for educational purposes, but anyway. All right, so I am going to go ahead and create a little graphic here. So I have my two plants. I am going to go ahead and make a square over the artboard. So I've got my two plants in my layer hierarchy. If I just take this square and drag it down, now that's underneath my plants there. I'm going to go ahead and grab a library. So I just pulled up Bright Retro. Go ahead and grab a library, and actually green's a terrible choice because I have so much green on the plants. Maybe this one. Okay, that works better. All right, so yeah, my square is kind of hanging over my artboard, but that's not too big of a deal because I can just create that mask in a little bit. I'm just gonna quickly grab some text here. I'm gonna say plants are our friends. It'll say friends, but I'm going to choose a different font. So I'm going to adjust the leading here so that the spacing between my text is looking good. Bring this down. I guess the leading doesn't matter if I make this smaller. Plants are our. And then maybe I'll add this in kind of a maybe I'll choose this font. I'm just trying to pick quickly here. It's not the best font for this choice, but I also need to let you guys go and decompress from this skill-filled but large tutorial. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and pick, so I'm going to bring this down a little bit, and I'm going to bring this down a little bit. And then these, I think, can actually sit a little bit more like so. So maybe just a little bit running off the sides. The word friends, I'm going to have that be like a bright pink, just to kind of pop it off out from everything else. This, plants are, I think I'll use my eyedropper and use this dark green. No, it disappeared. What happened? Let's see. My text just disappeared. Let's see. Oh, I made the... Okay. I made it the same font and font size because when I had my eyedropper tool, I had this selected. Well, it's probably too hard to explain. My top text, I dropped it to look identical to the text below it. So basically what I need to do is I need to Command Z back. There we go. So plants are, so with my eyedropper tool, instead of clicking on this, which is what I clicked on, so it made this font identical to the font choice and size of this. I need to go down to the green, choose the green, not this, text, and then I've got a nice color situation going on there. So now what we need to do is clean this up and group everything together. So I'm going to marquee, select everything. I'm going to go ahead and group everything together. Let's grab our rectangle tool. Go ahead and make a nice clean rectangle there. All right. And then just like before, we're going to select the group first because that's what's getting cut out. We're going to select the rectangle on top because that is the cookie cutter. And then Command or Control 7. And we've got a nice mask on there. Now, if you ever want to go and adjust your mask, you can certainly do that. So we've got the clip group here. If you toggle down, you're going to see that the mask is sitting on top of the group. All you need to do is click on that rectangle specifically. You can always go in here and make adjustments if you don't really get it right on the line. You You can click and drag that mask around. Okay, so you want to go ahead and save this, but what we're also going to do is we're going to export all of this imagery out into our final folder bucket. So how we're going to do that is first you want to file save your project. So you can save your work in your Illustrator file, but now we're going to export each of these compositions as a JPEG to join the rest of the imagery that we've worked on today. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Export, File, Export, Export As. You can call this, we'll just leave it at tutorial. You can say whatever you want. Instead of PNG files though, we want JPEGs because these are all solid compositions. You're going to click Use Artboards. You're going to select all of the artboards. We want all 4 of these to export. You're going to choose Final folder and then go ahead and export those. You can leave your JPEG options at default, which is RGB. We're not printing these. And then a 300 ppi resolution is just fine. So go ahead and hit OK. All right, now let's take a look in the folder and see if our images are there. Perfect. So we have the car that we edited the person out of. We have the house that we extended the background of. And then we have our 4 compositions from Illustrator that we did all kinds of magical layering and masking and that type of work. So the next thing that I'm going to have you do is lay these all out onto one artboard. And you're going to export that as a PDF, and that is what you're going to upload to Canvas to submit the tutorial. So let's go through this quickly. We're going to go back to Illustrator. You can have this project open, but we're going to go to File, New. You can choose... I would just choose Art and Illustration, I guess. I hate how it switches it to points here. Or maybe we could just go to Web. This is going to do pixels. You know, whatever is in your recent, just go ahead and click that because we're going to change the settings over here anyways. So what I want you to have this as is we're going to change this to Final Photo Tutorial. The width is going to be 8.5 inches. The height is going to be 11 inches. You can have one artboard. And then whatever this is set to, just change it to RGB color. And then for raster effects, just have it be at 300 ppi. So this is an 8.5 by 11 PDF with one artboard, RGB, and 300 ppi. And so no matter what you select over here, you can kind of just change things over here in this panel. So we're going to go ahead and create that. And what we want to do is we want to go ahead and place all the files that I just mentioned onto this one artboard and export that to turn in for the tutorial. So we're going to go to File, Place, or Shift Command or Control P. And then in here, we're going to choose the files. So let me change this to icons so you can see it a little bit better. So we want to choose the car. I'm holding my Command key down Command or Control, and then we're going to hit the house, and then the 4 compositions that we just worked on Illustrator. We're going to hit place. Now, you're going to see that this says 1-6, so this is 1 out of 6 photos that we chose to place on the PDF. And what's cool about this is it gives you a nice, clean, organized way to kind of just lay these out. So what you should be showing here is the car with the person removed, the house with the extended landscape. Then you can kind of place these other ones however you like. Now, these don't need to be super organized on the page itself. This is just you showing me that you were able to complete these basic tasks. They don't have to be perfect by any means. There's probably things that you ran into that didn't work out, and that's okay. As long as I see that for the most part, you mostly, were able to complete everything, and that's good. So these laid out in this way is fine. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and export this out as a PDF. And that's part of, this digital asset management, is that you need to be able to understand what all the different file types are, how to export them, import them in again, put them in a layout, whatever, and export them in different file formats. And it can feel overwhelming, but it's really important if you're interested in being a content creator and, managing digital content or content for print. This stuff is all really important foundational skills. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go to File. We're going to go to Save a Copy. So Final Photo Tutorial. And we're going to choose Adobe PDF. I'm going to get rid of that copy there just because I'm kind of a file name person. So Final, I have Final spelt incorrect. Final Photo Toot for tutorial, Adobe PDF. We're going to go ahead and hit Save. It's going to ask you a bunch of questions. You can just leave them all at default. We're going to hit Save. And then what you should see in here is a final PDF with your, 6 images on there. This, of course, is going to either have the plants file that I provided you in the tutorial folder, or a vector, of your choice, whatever it is. And that's what you need to upload. So thanks for hanging with me. I know that this is a big one, but it's taking all the things that we've been working on in the beginning of the term and kind of bringing them together and mixing a bunch of different concepts and skills into, some pretty solid compositions. So as always, reach out to me with any questions. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it, everybody. Thanks. Bye.